Welcome. My name is Stephen Horne, and my personal mission is to help create more alternative health practitioners. People who can use natural healing, people who can help others to stop treating disease and instead start building health. And that's the focus of this little video today. I'm looking for people who feel the inner spiritual calling to be involved in natural healing, but don't know how to go about building a business and career. What I am doing is dedicating my business, my website, my YouTube channel to training those people who feel that inner call how to go out and help other people. Specifically, I want to show people how to stop working on the symptoms, if you will, of people's problems, whether they be physical health problems or emotional health problems or problems in their relationships or even the way we view social problems, and actually start working on the root causes so that they can develop real health, wholeness in every aspect of their life, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and socially in the way we interact with each other. My focus on health rather than disease is really important, and there are two reasons for it. The first one is a practical one, which is that government agencies, both on the state and federal level, have basically created a monopoly on being able to treat diseases and diagnose diseases. So alternative health practitioners really can't legally do that, and we're treading on thin ice when we do. The fortunate thing about this is that that's not necessary for us to be successful. The reason why it's not necessary for us to be successful goes right back to the thing I said in the beginning. We're not treating diseases. Natural healing is not about treating diseases. People come into natural healing and they're looking for an alternative. The alternative is usually they're trying to find something that will treat their symptoms of their illnesses with a natural remedy instead of a drug or something. But the whole mindset is wrong. The whole way that they're going about it is incorrect. It doesn't work. That's what I learned anyway. And let me explain why. Okay, when you get a cut, so you cut your finger, what heals the cut? Do you sit there and do something that magically heals the cut, or does the cut heal itself? You just have to keep it clean. You have to maybe, if it's really big, you push it back together until the blood clots. There's some miraculous intelligence inside your body that's doing the healing. You're not doing the healing. That intelligence is inside your body. That intelligence was present when the sperm and the egg joined together and created a single cell that became you. And that single cell had all of the information it needed to basically build every organ and cell and tissue in your body. So that intelligence is still present in your body. So what we do in natural healing is we give that intelligence the right conditions it needs in order to do its job. That's all. It's trying to do its job, and we have to learn how to pay attention to it, let it tell us what we need, and go about that. So you see, modern medicine doesn't spend a lot of time teaching people how to get a good diet, how to exercise, how to get adequate rest or sleep or whatever. It's mostly focused on treating the disease symptoms. And in disease care, that's what you're focused on. That's what I call modern medicine, disease care. It's focused on, I get sick, I go to the doctor, I get some treatment for my sickness. And pretty much that treatment is going to be related to symptomatic relief. I have high blood pressure, so you bring down the high blood pressure. I don't actually ever get rid of my high blood pressure. The medication just manages it. I have a headache, I take a painkiller. Why did I get a headache? That's the question. So that was the first reason why I want to focus on health instead of disease. The second reason is a more philosophical or spiritual one. I've spent a lot of years studying people who are, powerhouses in self-empowerment and self-improvement. People like Napoleon Hill and Wayne Dyer and Bob Proctor and many others. And it's not just that, it's also that I've spent many years in a personal relationship with God and prayer and meditation and contemplation, seeking understanding. And what I have learned is that we have a tremendous capacity as human beings to create. It says in the Judeo-Christian scripture that we were created in the image of God. Well, God is the creator. So if God is the creator and we were made in his image, then we were made with a capacity to create. And you can see that everywhere. Human beings are incredibly creative. Look at everything around you. Look at everything around me in this room. Some human mind thought of that, put it into their brain, and made it a reality. It's an incredible tool that God has given us to create things. But the caveat is this tool is also very dangerous, because we can not only create good things, things that benefit ourselves and others, but we can create bad things. We can create evil. When we dwell in our minds on the wrong things, and imbue that with our life energy, which is our emotional energy in our heart, we can create a lot of things that are not good for us. So we either have to have a positive focus. We need to be focused on what good things we want to be doing in the world, what good things we want to be creating. We're focused on what we want and on experiencing, a positive emotional energy about life, or we're focused on the negative. We're spending our time dwelling on the things we don't want, getting ourselves all emotionally upset. And the problem with that is that we're then creating more of what we're thinking about and dwelling on. My father, to give an example of this principle, was an expert in drawing out the best in people. He knew how to sit with a person, listen to them, figure out what their interests and passions were, and draw that out of them. People would love to do things with my dad, and he was able to really motivate people and bring out the best in them, because he looked for the good in them. He looked for the things that they were good at and that they were interested in. He didn't look at their faults. And I learned that when you look at people's faults, you magnify them. You draw them out, because you're focused on the weaknesses of another person. If you look at the good things that a person does and you appreciate it, you draw that out of them. If you look at the bad things the person does and you criticize them, you create more of that. Well, it's the same way with our health and everything in our lives. Okay? If we're focused on disease, we're going to experience fear. And that fear and that thinking about illness and sickness actually only drives a mechanism that creates more sickness and more fear and more problems. We have to ask a different question. Instead of asking, how do I treat this disease, we have to ask, what do I need to do to improve my health? It is that question, because the nature of the question you ask determines the nature of the answer you will receive. And if you ask the wrong question, you may not really receive the answer that you're looking for. So the question you have to ask is, how do I regain my health and my vitality? That is the question that leads to healing, and it's self-empowering, because it doesn't put the healing ability outside of you, it puts it back inside of you. It leads to a feeling of hope, which leads to a feeling of personal empowerment. So you have a positive thought with a positive emotion of hope, and that is what really leads to healing. I'll explain this more in later videos. This is the first in a series of videos to explain my philosophy about healing. Right now, I want to wrap up this idea of changing our focus from disease to health by referring to something known as Haring's Law of Cure. This was created by a homeopath named Constant Haring, and it says all cure comes from within out, from the head down, and in reverse order of the symptoms that have appeared in the body. Now, Haring was talking about a principle that as you gave homeopathic remedies, the illnesses were resolved physically in that order. In other words, the inner organs healed first, moving to the skin. They healed from the head, things in the head healed before things lower in the body. And in reverse order in which they appeared. In other words, the most recent illness healed first, and then you went back to other illnesses that occurred. But there's a deeper meaning in what Haring said. Healing does really come from the inside, not from the outside. We have to start believing in the innate healing power of our body. We have to start understanding that the power of healing is not out there in doctors and hospitals and blah, 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 blah. It's within us. And as we look at healing what's inside of us, it moves out into the physical level. The other thing, from the head down, a lot of natural health practitioners look at this. It starts with changing our thought. And the thought that I want you to understand right now that you need to change is stop thinking about the diseases you have and how do I get rid of them, and start instead thinking, what do I need to do to be healthy? That thought will lead you to the right answers. If you feel the call to be part of this work that I'm engaged in shifting people's consciousness about health, please subscribe to my newsletter or my YouTube channel. The links are provided below. Or you can become a member of my member program at stephenhorne.com. I'd also appreciate if you liked the video, if you click the like button, and please share it so we can get this message out to more people. Thank you for watching.